Aloha. Today I wanted to kind of jump off the last video and go a little bit into the separation program and link it into the flat earth and the Mandela effect. So the Mandela effect of realizing connection, realizing something beyond the physical reality, realizing shiftings in our reality, and the outside of coincidence and basic state of understanding our reality off of pre-programmed conditions or just programs themselves, flicker rate moments that have been designed to tell a story to us, including our own story of existence, which comes from the scientific community and that whole space of pretty much pastors of the church called science. And I wanted to link this in to the deepest and furthest separation that a lot of people are hinting around on when they talk about flat earth, and they talk about spirituality, when they talk about biblical perspectives and all this stuff, and not many people go into angels and demons and talk about the energies themselves and the energy of being close to the source and being far from the source, and then forgetting completely about the source itself, which is kind of like my drive behind this video right now, because I'm still on social media, on Instagram and YouTube, so I utilize these outlets so to not be completely hypocritical, and I don't see it as hypocritical at all, because the energy that I use within these outlets is for a bringing together of an internal connection and the external connections, the ones with people. So I utilize this space for what it is, and also sharing the perspectives that I observe of its downfalls and its design as a whole. So people take it for whatever you like, but these are my research tools and my outlet tools, like a paintbrush in a sense. So but in observing these outlets, these programs, just like Hollywood television, and this is just, I just typed in the search engine Hollywood celebrities, and this is what comes up. So you can see there's a definite design here. There's a program, there's a trend going on with the design of the separation program as a whole we know as Hollywood. And you can go into seeing how the separation program is, and I'll explain it in a second more deeply, because we are surrounded by these programs, and these programs go into our own families. These programs separate us and our families from our kids, from our spouses, from our family members, our parents, our grandparents. These are designs to trigger stuff like sports, for example, is to trigger the inner child, and distract you with your inner child subconscious subliminal programming, because your day-to-day is going to work. Your day-to-day is your responsibility, your energy hoarding of a broken and separating system. So these individuals who are straight out of high school, straight out of college, are paid millions and millions of dollars to convince you that this program that they are working for is the best program, is the system where they made it. So our whole design is based upon a monetary system of separation. It's one of the big arms in this whole game. And just like the science community, the professors in the university system, that's why it costs so much to go to school and learn these lies, because money has this convincing effect on individuals that makes us believe certain things. That's why a lot of people won't believe certain things until it comes from certain people's mouths. There's entire races of people, old school people and new school people, that will not believe anything. They will not even allow themselves to learn anything or expand at all unless it comes out of specifically, most times, a lot of the times now, because we're under this supremacy program, a white male's mouth. Until it comes out of their mouths, that's when it becomes true. If it comes out of some regular dude off the streets, they whatever, but a dude wearing a tie who's been, doing something for so long and got a microphone, got a bunch of people following him around, until they say it, then it's not true. So this is a magic spell. This is a program. This is something that has separated you from, or whoever, for these individuals, from their own center of self. And I come from this perspective because the initial reason why I started writing the stuff down that I'm getting ready to read is I was just thinking about how far the separation program has gone from the first fallen angel to like these moments here on earth, and the demons that run amok within a system and have created a system that separates people and has people fall further from themselves, all the way up until the separation programs that are within the very relationship we have with what we call God or our Creator. You have individuals who take advantage of that space a lot of the times, because their design is based on separation. Their design is not based upon empowering your connection with your creative connection, your creative source. Their very nature, their very being is to be the so-called middleman or whatever of your connection with a higher being, a higher energy, a higher whatever you want to call that space. And you can see how deeply these church programs they're being seen for what they are today, and it's because it's because of a lot of things. But when you sprinkle in money into, for an example, then as far as creating a reality of interaction, then you can see that they fell right into the fallen program, the separation program. And this is the deepest program that a human can go into, which is the total separation, the total blanking out of your existence, falling deep into the rabbit hole of illusion, and following these scientific magicians. And you can see this is, I just typed in atheism or atheist at the top, and all this space stuff comes up. All this like this is all based because that is the only foundation that these individuals have to understand their reality. It has been given to them by a professor or an astronaut or some kind of politician that really likes science, or some kind of TV show that puts scientists on there. It's all a collection of all of them, and then we just believe it over time because, that's the only thing that we see. That's what the television pumps out. The television puts Neil deGrasse Tyson on the Colbert Report and on the Bill Maher show and all these shows. It's designed to separate you. The very nature of these shows. So if you can see HBO, NBC, CBS, ABC, all these television networks, Hollywood itself, if they are worshiping these scientists, these professors that are in the deepest layer of separation, then what the hell do we think these cartoons are doing to our children? What do we think these Disney movies are doing to our kids? What are these movies subliminally selling to our children in a way that's more receptive to their child minds? Just like ESPN is more receptive to the child mind, the inner child mind of the adult. Just like Hollywood is more receptive to the child mind of the physical reality-based human understanding. These are programs that have been conditioned within our reality. This is what we call beauty. This is the European version of what beauty is, and this design is meant to separate the majority of people on this planet. The 9/10 of the planet is melanated. When you see this supremacy program as existing the way it does, and you link in Hollywood, you link in sports, you link in politics, you link in the church, you link in science, you link in all these different versions of reality, and then lock it into our very nature. And then I'll bring it back to the gym right now, because this was kind of like the foundation of my wanting to do this video, because I still have Instagram, and Instagram is just flooded with the smartphones and this whole selfie thing. And this whole selfie thing has convinced people to worship the physical body, worship the gym, worship this meat package we call the human vessel. And my whole point is that the very air you think you're breathing is not even yours. This is a rental car. The human body is a rental car. It's not yours. You can do whatever you want within this experience, from the darkest of the dark to the lightest of the light. You still will be answering to a creative source in every moment of that flicker rate space. And when you leave this reality, You can live to be 130 years old. You will still be going back to the source. And this is this separation program that we have fallen into. And I use that word fallen because you can see that even when some people who are aware of like the Lucifer program or the Lucifer experience in the first, or the first so-called first fallen angel, and even that choice, that choice to have fallen, to breath that decision, is not even his or hers breath. That choice was given, and that the energy to make that choice was given. That's what I'm saying. So if that was given to one of the high angels to fall, to have the choice to fall, then what the hell does humanity think it's doing? Humanity has mastered, or at least the control grid of humanity has mastered the fallen program to a point to where they can harness the energy of the individuals who have fallen into the physical reality and who have believed that this is it, and have convinced everybody that you are a cosmic mistake, that you are space dust, you are basically a turd that was shot out of a star fart, and you can now make a ham sandwich, and that's great. And put some fucking bacon on it too, you know. Get some macaroni and cheese and put some bacon in it. Get some eggs, get an egg sandwich, and you put some bacon on it. You get yourself get some clam chowder, put some bacon in that clam chowder. You have evolved. You are an evolved being, because monkeys can't get bacon. That's messed up. You know, monkeys can't make a BLT. They can't enjoy life. They can't go to Applebee's and get a BLT to go and then take it home and watch the game. They can't do that. So you better be pretty grateful that you're not a monkey anymore, according to these according to this program. That's how far we've fallen. And I woke up this morning and I was like, I was remembering my dreams, and I was just thinking like, man, this breath, because there's some dreams where I'm out of breath. I wasn't out of breath this morning, but I remember the dreams where I've been out of breath sometimes. And like when I'm swimming underwater or something and I need to come up for air, and then as I'm coming up for air, I realize I'm not breathing anything, and I don't really need to come up for air because I'm in a dream. But anyway, that made me realize that what kind of like set the tidal wave for this whole video right now is that this is not our air, and this is not even air, like, in a sense. So this is an experience. This is within a system. So when you talk about the dome and the pressure of the dome that keeps this whole thing, the frequency, the sound frequency, the light frequency of this place, and seeing us as a spark within the heart that pumps the blood that goes to the brain, and then like all these like there's an order to this thing, and this is like on level 4 of, or -4 I should say, of like only worshiping the physical, the fatty tissue of the brain. It's like, oh yeah, this is it. It's just about the fatty tissue. It's about the bacon, the back fat of our creative reality. totally enjoying this separation program, enjoying the physical reality, worshiping the muscles and and the sex and the drugs. And that's another thing. We use substances to close these gaps that have been created by the system itself. So we rationalize cigarettes, we rationalize alcohol, because those things are legal on one hand, like whatever the hell that means, legal by our broken ass system, on a world that has been created for us to observe upside down and backwards when you factor in the flat earth, and even when you factor in the Mandela effect, to see that there are people who are so far from their own memory banks, so far from their own confidence in themselves and in perceiving their reality, to on one level, some people actually have separated themselves from what they actually experienced, and then on another level, people convince themselves of what they're seeing now with their physical eyes, because they can't really trust their intuition anymore. That's the ultimate separation, to separate you from the natural. And it's bombarded. It's this bombarding space. That's what all these apps are. This is what the television was at first. This is what the radio was at first. So the radio before, and the newspaper before that. So the newspaper dialed in your storylines to pump up the idea for these politicians. So imagine right now if this is like the mid 1700s or the late 1700s into the 1800s, and even before that. Like, think if this was like I don't know, 1200 or something, and you're in Oakland in 1200, and these dudes showed up, and these dudes showed up, and these dudes showed up, and this system showed up. This is 1200, and these people showed up, and this thing showed up, and then this building showed up, and then these programs showed up, and this is 1200 right now in Oakland. Like, this is a really jacked up system when you take it out of this moment and put it in that moment. You can see it for what it is, because basically we have no silence. There is no peace. There's no harmony in the normal connections that we have within our regular day-to-days on the inner and the external plane. We've traded in our connection with the allness, the all space, the moment, for clutter and distraction, and we lose. We've ultimately become within a worship program of the fallen design, and Hollywood, television, school, the gym. It's all designed for us to worship and extend, master even further this separation program. We're like a song that's constantly out of key, an orchestra that's playing a song that never stops, that's not in key, that has no purpose, that has no understanding of how to play the instruments, which on a personal level is our own song, our own soul song. We don't even know our own soul song, our own purpose, our own meaning for being here, our own harmonics, and waking up in the morning and being a part of like the relationship between the sun and trees. And we are, as complex as the human design is, we're not even as harmonic on a regular basis than the basic connection, relationship between a tree and the sun and the water and the rain, the weather. We've lost ourselves in the clutter. We've traded in our reality for a master control grid of separation, where we only show our ass, we only worship titties and a pretty face and a television and a suit and other people. Like, we spend most of our lives trying to be like and trying to look like other people, never realizing our own culture, never realizing our own people, hating our families, hating our partners a lot of the time, because we've been conditioned and programmed to feel and act and think a certain way, to perceive our reality, think about ourselves a certain way. We're never really connected or part of the bigger songs that are out there. The song of harmonics, it's been lost because we fell, and these sub stories have been told over and over and over again to make us hate ourselves, and forget that, forget love in itself, to forget that we are ultimately loved when we have the gift of breath. We're like, we subliminally hate this rental car we call the human body because it's a rental car, and we know it subconsciously, but we don't. So we live in that rental car space, not realizing that there's a beauty to this purpose that has nothing to do with a rental company and a rental this and a rental that. It's like, no, there's a purpose there that we exist as. So to close those gaps, we smoke, we drink, we go to the gym, we have babies, we have fast food, we have social media, we have the university system. We have this design to keep us distracted, to keep us busy, to keep us wanting more and more of something that is something within this design of separation, simply because it is something. And it goes all the way back to how we perceive our very world, our earth plane itself. And it does really lock into this whole fallen program with angels. It's as far as and beyond the angels and demons programs, storylines that we've heard of. And for people who are afraid to mention or speak of like the name Lucifer and the Lucifer program and that experience as one storyline that could be used to share this idea, this perspective, we have to step out of that space and realize how far we have to look at it, actually say these words, actually see these stories to see how far we've fallen, to get back up. Because if you've fallen, and you just need to get back up. There's people, when I was 5 years ago, when I was only working out and going to school and working and eating chicken thighs every day. That was it. That was it. I had a little barbecue grill, and then that was it. I was like, oh man, I can grill some chicken. That's good. And then I was feeling bad on a regular basis because there was so much out of balance, and it had to do with the food. I knew it had to do with the meat I was eating and how that was affecting me overall. And because I was just eating, that was the only thing. I wasn't even eating any vegetables. I might have had some rice or anything, but yeah, it was just meat and going to the gym, and there was something extremely out of balance with that. And once I started to shift my own perspective, then I started to see more and more connections. When you see more and more connections, you can see more and more how we've been separated. And we've been separated from, the angels. We've been separated from our creator and our creative potential. So it's like a house of mirrors here. When we observe our reality, we're in this. When we fall into this separation design, we are in this house of mirrors, and we keep running into each other, or running into ourselves, or running into this whatever, and we convince ourselves that we're like the shoes we wear, and that we're the face that we have, and the body that we are, when we're not even the breath that we breathe. It's not ours. That's it's all rented. It's all a rental program to see if we're gonna do something with it, learn what we came here to learn, do what we came here to do, or are we going to continue to fall into the fallen program of forgetfulness and separation? What are we gonna do? So I just wanted to share that moment of reflection on what else is a part of this flat Earth Mandela effect, even cannabis, and all these things that are here in this reality that you're born. When you're born with just the body that you have and the soul group that you have around you. That's it. That's all you have. And the rest of the stuff is added on within this experience. It's all an extra. It's all on top of the system itself. It's not meant literally for, if it's meant for anything, it's meant for something that comes later on as a gap filler. So we can continue to fill these gaps and fight a system and fight all this, or we can make these connections to the depths of our maximum potential and really see our true potential outside of this and that. If you truly believe, or even beyond believe, if you truly understand the physical reality, the earth plane, your connection to source, then you don't really need to prove anything, because your proof is your own depths of understanding to the umpteenth degree. If it's going to proof and all that other stuff, then there's something else there that needs to be part of the system, and it'll come naturally. But people are gonna do whatever it is they need to do to prove this and understand that. But until we start to challenge ourselves to understand the story as a whole, the story that how we exist, then we're still going to be putting layers on top of layers of a reality that's just part of a bigger reality. So I'll leave it there, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So thank you for joining me. Until next time, peace, love, and harmony.